So most of us have heard the prayer that asks God to help them accept what they cannot change. And certainly most of us have unfortunately heard over and over again the song from the movie Frozen by the name of Let It Go. But accepting something that you cannot change, or even accepting something that you would prefer to change, can prove to be pretty difficult. But before you get into how you're going to get over these things, before you can get into how you're actually going to let it go, let's review and make sure that those emotions that you're feeling you need to let go are actually yours. Now, in today's chaotic world where it seems like everything is in upheaval, it only seems like everything is in upheaval. Certainly, there are those who have had their lives affected by the changes, but let's take stock of your own individual life. Have you lost your home? Have you lost a loved one? Have you lost your job? Now, certainly some of you will answer yes to that, and that definitely is either a cause for concern or sorrow or whatever emotion you feel to choose about it. But for many of us, we haven't experienced any of those things, and that brings me to the example of a sports stadium where we've all seen where something exciting happens during the game and everybody starts getting all excited and yelling and happy, and everybody feeds off of that energy. But the same can be true in the negative, and we're seeing that happen right now worldwide. How many people do you know that are, for lack of a better phrase, losing it, when in reality they haven't lost anything? You see, they're feeling the collective energy. They're feeling the energy and the sorrow and the uncertainty for other people. They're holding that darkness, actually, which is the opposite of the light. They're taking those terrible things that are happening, but they're amplifying it by feeling it as though it was happening to themselves. And then it leads you to not be able to accept that these things are happening, but mainly that's probably because they're not happening to you. Now, like I've said, certainly there are those who this chaos has truly affected. And I'm not disparaging them or making light of their situation. But for those of us who really haven't lost anything other than our sense of normalcy, it's going to be up to us to hold the light. It's going to be up to us to say, hey, look, things can still be okay. Things will still be okay. You cannot take in the energy of those who are experiencing the true negative things that are happening and amplify it as though it was your own. It's not helping them, and certainly isn't going to help you. And so how do you know the difference? Well, you're going to have to take some quiet time and just reflect on what it is that you actually have lost during this time of chaos. For myself personally, there's a few things in the financial realm, but overall, I haven't lost any loved ones. My employment is still somewhat secure. I still have my home, I still have my family, my dogs are happy and safe and fine. And so it's not my place to hold the stress and hold the feeling of despair that other people might genuinely be feeling. For me, at least in my opinion, it's my place to hold the light, to shine the light, to say, hey, it can still be okay. Things will work out for all of us. So once you've gotten to the point where maybe you realize that you have less to accept than you thought, then the next question is, how do you accept those things? Because that is certainly something I see many people struggling with, is accepting that Things may not go back to their version of normal. I hate to use the word new normal, so I won't, but we've all heard it. And I'm not talking specifically about masks or social distancing. I mean just normal within our life, within the things that we used to do on a day-to-day basis, or plans that we had. Many of those things might not come back, so we're going to have to find new ways to entertain ourselves and new ways to fulfill ourselves. So, one of the best ways that I have found to overcome this inability to accept is simple distraction. And I'll give you an example. My 3 dogs are completely used to the idea that somewhere about 5-6 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll go outside with them and they'll run around and play or just kind of lay in the grass depending on their mood. But they're used to it being that time of the day where we go and we sit with them and they do what dogs do. But for about a couple of months out of the year, it's just too hot. My biggest one is a St. Bernard. He just cannot go outside for any length of time. And so we usually spend that time inside. But of course, he comes up to us and says, hey, it's time to go outside, right? He's used to that. That's his normal. And being a St. Bernard, he certainly has difficulty accepting the fact that he's not going to go outside right now. So, the simplest of techniques, I just simply distract him. Normally there are no dog treats in the house. I'm pretty strict on what I feed them, but what I have found this year is just buy a couple boxes of treats. I have them there on the table where we're sitting, and when they come up to us wagging saying, hey, let's go outside, I simply distract them with treats. And amazingly, they quickly accept that they're not going outside. They totally forget that that was a stressor for them. They eat their treats, they sit down. They might come back an hour or 2 later, but at that point I think they're just begging for treats. But you get the point. They've accepted they're not going outside for those couple of months by simple distraction. So, in your own life, it's not difficult to find things to distract yourself with. And I don't mean going on social media and fighting with people about all the chaotic events that are occurring. That's not what I'm talking about. Find something that lights you up, something that you haven't had time to normally do, something that really moves you, whether it be a project around the house or starting your own website, your own blog, whatever the case may be. I know multiple people have made improvements to their home, their body, they've started new businesses. And this is the only way that you're going to come to that true acceptance that maybe your normal isn't coming back. It's by creating your own new normal. Do not let the media and social pressure tell you what the new normal is. You create that for yourself. And so once you do those things, you'll no longer have to worry about what you're going to have to accept, because you will have created your own new reality. And the old one was fine and well and good, but hey, bad things happen, you know. It's the world, it's life, it's the planet. It's nobody's fault. It's not the fault of any one politician or any group of politicians or any group of people. It's simply nature taking its course in one way or another. So, the first step, like I said, is making sure that what you need to accept is your own. You don't want to carry the darkness of others. You want to carry your own light and use that as an example to show others what the changes truly can be. They do not all have to be negative. And for those who have experienced true loss, help them. But the best way to help them is by showing them the way forward. And the way forward is by creating our own new world. Not the one that the media and the politicians want to give to us, but the one that's inside of you that you've always wanted. Now's the time to create it. Don't waste it.